All right, let's get right into it. You've definitely seen them popping up everywhere, these super powerful, lightweight LiFePO4 batteries. They're perfect for RVs, solar setups, you name it. But man, that price tag on the pre-made ones can really make you wince. And that leads a lot of us to a really tempting idea. Why not just build your own? So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to break down how to do it without breaking the bank, and most importantly, how to do it safely. And that right there, that's the whole ballgame. Seriously, this isn't just about trying to save a few $100. It's about making something that's powerful and super reliable, without cutting corners that could, lead to a total disaster. The road to a great DIY battery is all about knowledge, not shortcuts. So this brings us right to the big question, the dilemma that every single builder faces when they start this journey. Is the money you save worth the complexity? This slide just nails the trade-off, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the pre-made battery. It's simple, it's tested, it's literally plug and play. But you are paying a hefty premium for that convenience. And on the other side, you've got the DIY route. It's way, way cheaper, but it's going to demand your time, your focus, and a real understanding of what you're actually doing. And here's the kicker. A lot of the tutorials you find online, they get you maybe 80% of the way there, but they completely miss the most critical 20%. They just gloss over stuff like using the right insulation for high current wires or how to pick the right size fuse. Some even suggest you can skip the battery management system, the BMS, which is, let me tell you, a massive red flag. These aren't just little details. They're the difference between a reliable battery and a legitimate fire hazard. Okay, so to make sure we don't fall into any of those dangerous traps, we have to build a solid foundation of knowledge before we even think about touching a wire. So let's start with the absolute basics of how these batteries work. First up, series connection. The easiest way to think about this is like stacking batteries in a flashlight. You just connect the positive end of one cell to the negative end of the next one. And every time you add another cell to that chain, the total voltage goes up. Simple as that. And the math for this? It's incredibly easy. So you take 4 LiFePO4 cells, right? They each have a nominal voltage of 3.2 volts. You connect them in series, and what do you get? 12.8 volts. That's it. That's the magic number you need to create what we call a 12-volt system. But what if you need more runtime? More energy stored up. Well, that is where parallel connections come into play. For this, you connect all the positive terminals together and all the negative terminals together. This doesn't raise the voltage at all. Instead, it boosts the capacity, which we measure in amp hours. Just think of it like you're making the fuel tank bigger. If one string of your 4 cells gives you 100 amp hours of capacity, adding a second identical string in parallel, well, it just doubles it to 200 amp hours. That gives you twice the juice to power all your gear. Okay, listen up, because this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the single most important component in this whole build, the BMS, the Battery Management System. This little guy is the brain of your entire battery pack. It's the bodyguard. It protects your expensive cells from being overcharged, over-discharged, or getting too much current. It even keeps them all balanced. Skipping the BMS, it's like building a car and deciding you don't need brakes or seatbelts. So let me be clear, this is not a suggestion. It is an absolute requirement. All right, now that we've got that foundational knowledge down, we are ready for the main event, the step-by-step assembly. Let's actually build this thing. So phase 1 is all about getting ready. You're going to start by picking your cells. 4 3.2-volt 100 amp-hour cells are a super common choice for a basic 12-volt pack. Then you'll figure out how they're all going to fit inside your box or enclosure. You got to make sure there's enough room for all the wiring, some insulation, and of course, that all-important BMS. Now for the fun part, the actual wiring. You'll connect your cells in series, positive to negative, just like we talked about, to create that 12.8-volt pack. But the really crucial point here is step 6, installing the BMS. Every BMS is a little bit different, so you have to follow the manufacturer's wiring diagram to the absolute letter. Double-check your connections, then triple-check them. Okay, so the pack's wired up, the BMS is in, but we are missing a critical piece of the safety puzzle, the fuse. This tiny little device is what's going to protect your entire system from a catastrophic short circuit. So, how in the world do you know which one to pick? This is exactly where so many guides just get it wrong. You don't guess. You never ever guess. First, you calculate your pack's maximum continuous current. You do that with something called the C rate. For most of these cells, a 1Z rate is standard, which just means a 100 amp hour battery can safely put out 100 amps. So your max current is 100 amps. Then you choose a fuse that's rated for about 125% of that. So in this case, 125 amp fuse. This little buffer lets the system handle brief power surges, but it guarantees that fuse will blow instantly in a dangerous short, protecting you, your battery, and your equipment. We are on the home stretch now. The battery is built, but before we hook anything up to it, it is time for one final, absolutely non-negotiable safety check. This is your last line of defense. I want you to think of this like a pilot's pre-flight checklist. Always wear your safety glasses and gloves. Please use tools with insulated handles. It'll save you from an accidental short. Keep your workbench totally clear of any stray metal bits. And right before you connect your final load, grab a multimeter and verify the polarity is correct. Make sure positive is positive and negative is negative. A simple mistake right here can fry your components. And this is the golden rule, the ultimate rule. You are working with a device that stores a ton of energy. It demands your respect. If you get to any point where you feel unsure or confused, just stop. It is always, always better to ask for help from someone who knows what they're doing than to risk making a serious mistake. So, after all that planning, all that learning, and all that careful assembly, what is it that you've really created? You've built so much more than just a battery. By following these steps, you've created a system that's cost-effective, you saved a ton of money over a pre-made unit, it's powerful because it's tailored exactly to what you need, and most importantly, because you understood every single part and followed every safety check, it is safe. Honestly, building your own power source is an incredibly empowering feeling. You now have the knowledge and you've got the skill to create a totally custom energy solution. So really, the only question left is, what amazing project are you going to bring to life with it?